I'm John Paul, and I go by the pronouns he, him, and his. I'm the Peter Paul and Elizabeth Hagen Professor of the History of Christianity at United Lutheran Seminary, where I've been privileged to teach for 20 years. Look forward to working with you. I live in Clintonville, Wisconsin, on Pigeon Lake. More about that shortly. I'm a pastor at Union Congregational United Church of Christ in Green Bay, where I serve as Minister of Faith Formation and Community Engagement. I love being a part of that congregation, even under the circumstances of COVID 19. In addition to my teaching, I'm also a writer. Most recently completed the first critical biography in English of the Turkish preacher Fethullah Gulen. You can find it on Amazon. I hope it's done some good to correct the slanders that have circulated about Mr. Gulen. Most notably, the dictator Erdogan has called him a terrorist, which is absurd. And I hope it's done some good to protect the people associated with him who've been a part of a ruthless, been subject to a ruthless campaign of persecution. On a happier note, I play the saxophone. I love sitting in with gospel choirs and blues bands and enjoy that aspect of ministry. We have a lively jazz ministry in our congregation. And I also love gardening. We have a very fruitful garden over to the west of our home here in Clintonville. It's a wonderful avocation. I call it terra therapy. I live with my wife, Lisa. We've been married for 38 years, have 3 grown children. Justin, who's married to Genevieve. Nathan, who's married to Kate, has 2 kids. So we have 2 grandsons, which is awesome. And then our daughter, Rianne, who just moved into a really cool, funky apartment down in Milwaukee. We have a dog, Theo. Yes, I named my dog God. And then 2 cats, Layla and Izzy, and about 21 African cichlids in a 55-gallon tank. My vocation is as a public theologian, using the discipline of history to illumine the ways our historical religious traditions have both produced violence and the ways that they can produce peace. Most notably, I've been involved recently in anti-racism work, both at the congregation and in partnership with We All Rise, the African American Resource Center in Green Bay. I've also been an ardent advocate for the Green Gospel. Was recently elected to the Pigeon Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District, which is the board responsible for maintaining that watershed. And then most recently in the congregation, we developed an initiative called the Brain Center of Green Bay, which focuses on maximizing brain health throughout the life course, focused especially on providing assistance to those people who are facing one kind of neurodegenerative disease or another. Well, that was a little longer than 2 minutes. Sorry, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. But I do want to say a few more words before I go about our course text. So DeArmond McCulloch is a very fine English historian. I love his witty writing style. There's humor on almost every page and just insights that crackle. He's really a great, great historian. Dennis Jantz, People's History of Christianity, is a collection of essays by some of the leading social historians who are rewriting the history of Christianity from the bottom up, rather than as often has been the case. Telling the history of Christianity from the top down, reinforcing imperial power structures. Jantz and the historians represented there, by and large, are focused on the lives of ordinary people and the way Christianity developed its dynamism precisely because it provided power to lead their lives with integrity in the lives of ordinary individuals. And then a third sort of source would be writings by and about women in the history of Christianity. It's been a consistent feature, namely that Christianity has been led by women, by numbers and in terms of power. And yet, if you looked at the historical record up until about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, women were by and large absent. So trying to correct that um, to a degree in the readings and in the reading response papers that I'm asking you to write as well. I'll come to you pretty much every week with some kind of video comment like this, based on the readings or anticipating the readings based on your reading response papers. In other words, lots of ways for us to communicate. This is just one. Once again, look forward to getting to know you and to working with you this semester. Thanks for being a part of this journey.